Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using stock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by, trying to join while I'm loading the show, Arwin, Refracted Curvature, Original D-Rose, John, Neil, Adam, did I miss anybody? Don't think so. And a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, guys.
Hello, good afternoon. Good to have you all. We don't have a video. Nobody suggested anything today. So
Hey, I did.
Did you really?
What?
What did
Yeah,
you suggest?
I got a lovely little treat. I bet you'll love this.
No.
Debatism.
I've already said no to
JERAN
do.
against Brenda.
Okay. No, I don't want to cover Brenda. Now it came up. We covered Brenda the other day because Brenda was on one of the old shows, and I wasn't preempted that it would be that. But nevertheless, we've done a bit of Brenda recently. I don't particularly want Brenda on this show ever again, if that's okay by you. So if someone else can come up with a different video, then I'd rather cover that. Plus, JERAN's had enough hard time. Is it actually JERAN talking to Brenda?
Yes, on Debatism.
You don't think JERAN's had enough hard time of us in the recent weeks? Do you think we should just give the guy a break for a time? Do you not think JERAN... My bad, middle of that sentence that I told Neil off for interrupting in the pre-show. Do you not think we should just give him a bit of a break for a time? Let him at least recover from the wounds we've doled out so far?
Aren't you being a bit presumptive there, Nathan? He might actually go and absolutely destroy Brenda, and we could give him lots of packages and plaudits.
Sorry, are you having me on, Adam? Are you being sarcastic?
I'm just trying to be open-minded. I've not seen it yet. There is that potential.
Are we going to end up doing this?
Is it there? Oh.
Look, resistance is clearly futile, so I'm just going to do this because clearly if I don't, we're going to get people from the chat saying, oh, you should be covering it even though you don't like Brenda. No, I don't. She threatened to take actions to take my kids off me. So it seems reasonable that I wouldn't like her and would ban her from my show, which I did. But nevertheless, as she's on someone else's show, I suppose I should tolerate it. So that's precisely what we'll do. As always, this is being done on Jeranism channel. Nice to actually promote a friendly, sort of, for a change. But let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, and leave him a nice comment. Try and keep it clean so you don't immediately get it removed. But you'll see this is now going by in the live stream chat. This is done with the vain hope that these larger YouTubers like JERAN would actually respond in kind by putting a link to my video, promoting me in the YouTube algorithm, where we receive no love. So hopefully, should JERAN respond, he'd put a link to my video, as I've done for you. Let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. So with that, we haven't done any housekeeping. So although we've now decided what video we're going to be covering, and looks like it's already been timestamped, did you timestamp this, Arwin?
No, it's very rough. So I haven't actually listened to it. I just rounded out my show, so didn't play it during.
No, fair enough.
But I was pointed at the 56-minute. It was when Brenda was like doing something really silly.
Is that where Roto said that she tried to take ownership of the Black Swan?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was Lamb, yeah.
56 minutes, yeah?
Well, maybe we should go to 50 minutes and give some context to the discussion.
No, because that adds an
Maybe she
extra
wasn't
hour of
actually-
responses on, doesn't it? I'll go to the 54-minute mark, and we'll get the preamble, and then we'll go from there. In the meantime, any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge? That's a horizon, formerly known as Earth curve.
Well, yeah, Black Swan. I mean, I'm going to go Brenda for a second. You see, if the Earth was flat, then we would never have the horizon be Earth curvature. We have photographs in which the horizon has Earth curvature, so the Earth can't be flat. Black swan.
So that's just saying that the horizon is only ever capable of being asserted to be Earth curvature. That's what that asserts.
Yes.
So you and I can only ever infer that the horizon, if it exists at all, is Earth curve. Therefore, if it doesn't exist, that's a horizon/Earth curve on a flat Earth. We wouldn't have one because it can only be Earth curve. So therefore, because we do have one, it is Earth curve. That's crap. That's a useless argument.
It is?
Well,
Oh, I thought it was
can I
perfectly suited for Brenda. I mean, you only have to see Earth curvature once, and you know the Earth is a ball.
Was a response of prove it's Earth curvature then?
Well, can I give a tacit acceptance to her argument and just say that orbital mechanics would not be possible then? Navigation would not be possible then.
Oh, I love you, John. Well, what John's just done is he's taken his normal Lamborghini that goes along the highway. You'll need a flat Earth for that, right? In other words, asserting that their angle measurement will need a flat plane for the sake of argument. In this instance, just like bang, sharp, John. He's gone, all right, so she wants to take away the inference that there's a flat Earth to be used. Well, how does your globe Earth celestial navigation work then? Because you'll need a flat Earth for that, Dumbo. Oh, John, you're just ace. You're on fire. Last month or so. Okay, any evidence that you can have gas pressure without a container?
No, it can only be asserted that we don't need a container.
You do. Gas
Or
pressure.
Hold on.
Gas pressure has to press on
I
something.
got evidence. I
Oh,
got
here we
evidence
go.
from the field.
Go ahead, AI.
So the latest hotness is centrifuge.
I can't hear you.
Centrifuge proves you can have gas pressure without a container.
A centrifuge.
Yes.
What?
That's like a spinny roundabout thing, right? Something that spins stuff to the outside.
Correct.
Is that what you mean by centrifuge?
Yep.
Okay, took us through it.
Okay, so you put some stuff in a centrifuge, spin it up. It starts to be forced towards
Hold on,
the outside.
hold on. I'm already confused. When you say put stuff in, that sounds like you're putting it in something like a container. Am I wrong?
A lump of gas. Put a couple of lumps of gas
Hold
in
on,
it.
Okay,
Alwyn.
sure.
It's not your story.
Sure, you could say that. You could say that, but the counter rebuttal to your claim right there is, okay, sure, it's a container on 3 sides, but the 4th side is open.
So it's a container then. So when we say you can't have gas pressure without a container, you still need the container. It's an open
Right,
container.
so
I
then-
see. And you're overcoming the fact that it's an open container by way of centrifugal forces. That's fascinating. It still needs a container though.
Sorry.
Right, which is,
from
by the way, it's the excuse.
Oh, hold on, Adam. We'll get to
One more
that. Adam spotted the biggest flaw. We'll get to that in a second, Adam. Right. Go ahead, AI. Just round this out.
Right, so totally just glossing over the fact that this is the exact opposite of what they need to demonstrate for the direction and that it is a container. So they would then rebut, well, you're claiming the Earth has a closed container, but I'm showing you an open container. Therefore, there's no need for a container.
Okay. Adam.
Apart from the mental gymnastics on the container, how the hell would you centrifuge a gas? Considering the speed that the gas is moving is faster than the centrifuge.
I'll tell you how. It's very simple. What you do is you go to Home Depot. Now, if you don't know what Home Depot is, I could give you a scientific model for that later.
Try
Let's
to
just assume you know what it
focus on
means.
what you're doing with centrifugal forces and gases as opposed to where we apply intuition to get supplies from. Thank you.
All right. So once you arrive at Home Depot, what you do is you go down the aisles and you find one of these big orange buckets with a handle. Then you go down the other aisle and you find a piece of rope. Then you tie the rope.
Hold on,
to
slow
the
down.
bucket
Too fast.
and you
Hold on.
spin it.
Too fast. Too fast. Hold on.
Go
Too
ahead.
fast. Too fast.
Go ahead.
Writing this down.
Yep.
Bucket. Rope. Okay, carry on.
Yep. Get rope. Yep. Now, you could wait around for the Home Depot employee to cut the rope, like the sign says, or just do it yourself and be a rebel. So after you've cut the rope, you go and you buy it, right? Then you go to the gas store where you can buy some gas. You don't bring a container with you because you don't need one, because you could just have gas pressure without a container. You ask for some gas, they give it to you, like maybe they put it in your hand. You then put that gas into the bucket, and then what you do is you take the rope, tie it to the handle, and then spin it over the top of your head. And then and only then can you achieve gas pressure gradient or gas pressure in itself without a container.
But the gas in the bucket's still
Well,
coming
that
out.
would boss look like a genius.
What?
The gas will still be... If you put liquid petroleum into a bucket, you don't need to necessarily go to the counter, hand over a few, change in your pocket or whatever, and then he squirts the nozzle onto your hand, and then you put it in the bucket. You could just put it straight in the bucket as a liquid, right? Now you're saying that liquid petroleum, which obviously is off...
Bro.
Go on. Say again.
This is why it's important to peer review. See, you solved the step right there. I can just put it straight in the bucket. All right, let me write that down.
You write that down. Everyone give him a second. I want his full attention.
I love it. This is science live.
This
Real
science.
happening
All
now.
right, all right. I wrote it down.
Light
Continue.
Look, we're losing his attention. It's 56 people watching. No, 59 people watching. Going up all the time. Got to keep these people's attention. Okay. So when the gas is coming off the liquid, in other words, it's liberating itself from the liquid state and turning into gas. When you spin it around your head, it's still coming out of the bucket. The gas.
Well, I mean, so says you. I don't have any proof that that's the case. But even if you could prove that that's the case, all I would have to do is just spin the bucket faster.
It would still be coming out of the bucket. Adam's just explained that no matter how fast you get that centrifuge, I could say the word, centrifuge, to spin, the gases are still going to be going faster than it. So as they traverse off a wall of the bucket and head towards the opening, regardless of the fact that that opening is moving, they'll still go through the opening and out into free space, if you want to call it, beyond the bucket.
Right. So, do you have measurements of that occurring?
It's your
at the edge
claim.
of the bucket that they say?
I'm just describing gas behaviour, but you're saying you counteract gas behaviour by this open containment being spun, and I'm saying that based on the gas behaviour as I understand it, that would not be the case. Now, if you're saying it is the case, it's up to you to demonstrate it, not for me to debunk it.
Well, dude, I don't see any gas coming out, so therefore it's not coming out. What more do you need?
The invisible gas. You can't see any invisible gas coming out. Okay.
Are you denying gas exists
No,
just because you can't see
I
it?
can tell you how you can validate this. Because obviously, as it off gases, or however you describe the phase change in petroleum, there's probably a more technical term. But as that process continues, regardless, if you put it on a motor and had it spin permanently for an hour, you would come back in an hour and there'd be no liquid petroleum left. Maybe 2 hours, I don't know. But I'm saying that eventually it would give off all of those gases to the air, and there'd be nothing left in the bucket at the end of this process.
Yeah, but how does that apply to the Earth? What are they saying? Because of Earth's rotation?
No,
That's giving us
how
the
does it
force
apply?
that's
It doesn't.
needed for gas pressure?
You're saying how does it apply when he hasn't validated or shown it to be true? But the only thing that has been detailed by me is the dispersion of gas in line with entropic law, which would leave both the bucket devoid of gas and liquid petroleum, and Earth devoid of gas, because it would all fill the sky vacuum. What I described as free space beyond the bucket would be the sky vacuum beyond the heliocentric globe Earth, and that would take all of the gas away that we're currently breathing. We'd all be dead. That's the only thing it proves, Neil.
I agree, but I'm saying they must be trying to equate it with the Earth spinning, so then gas pressure could be here because Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour.
Meanwhile, he's just postulating this as a claim from the globe side, I assume, right?
Oh, yes, but I think I see Neil's point. So what Neil is saying is that they just proved concave Earth.
No, you'd have to have curvature. The same principle with black swan, refraction, all the claims of geometry are identical in concave Earth to globe Earth. They're just reversed in terms of you being on the inside rather than the outside of the ball. But all of their geometric claims have the same exact standards that we debunk for geocentric, heliocentric, or concave Earth. They all have the same standard applied. They all have the same R value.
what if I had a transparent counterforce that I could apply to the boundary of the bucket so that no gas could leave? What about that?
Then it'd be a container.
It's still not going to make a difference. Because
but
we're
you
dealing
can't
with
see it,
pressures
though. You
here,
couldn't
aren't we?
see it.
Hold on, he wants to get around this. We ask, how can you have gas pressure without a container? Well, what if I do this to the container? Will that not make it a container anymore? What are you on about, AI?
The container's irrelevant. It's the gas behavior that's going to prevent you being able to use a centrifuge to contain the gas. You can't do it because of gas behavior. As fast as you spin the centrifuge, it's kind of irrelevant because the gas, unlike with a liquid, the liquid can exert its pressure against the sides of the container. It can't go anywhere else. As the centrifuge gets faster, it just exerts more force on the walls of containment. But there is no containment for the gas, whether it's got a stopper on the end or not. At no point, no matter how fast the centrifuge spins, any of the gas molecules constantly applying pressure against another gas molecule, like with water, or against the sides of the container. The gas molecules, no matter how fast the thing is spinning, continue to do what they've always done, which is to randomly collide and move in all directions, irrespective of what the centrifuge is doing. The gas molecules do what they always do.
Irrespective is
So
the
what
correct
you're
word.
saying is I need to spin my centrifuge up to faster than the fastest gas molecule can travel, right?
Yeah, I think that's the only point where you could start to have an effect, isn't it? Where the rate of spin would exceed molecular speed. Then you've got a point where you're starting to be able to interact with them, aren't you? Other than that, all you're doing is letting them bounce off you.
No. I don't think that would be the case either. If you've got a gas particle that's heading towards the opening and it's, I don't know, on this constantly accelerating curved path that the outside edge of the bucket's taking with the containment for the gas to fly into, yeah? Well, if you go on the inside edge, we'll call it the inside diameter, right? So the ID is where the hole is. You with me? As it spins. Now, let's say you get it, you're saying beyond the velocity of the gas particle itself, okay? So what? If as the gas particle moves, why would the velocity of the outside edge, with its something to press on, going faster than the velocity of a gas particle, preclude any gas particle from going out the hole? Why would it stop that process when it's unbonded?
You're right. It's one point of rotation, one direction. The gas molecules move in all directions. So you may be able to create a concentration gradient on the back wall of the centrifuge.
Exactly.
Yeah, as you collect it, but it's still going to go out the top, isn't it?
Precisely. So,
Well, hold on.
yeah, you've still got a certain amount of gas particles that are going to interact with themselves and be redirected towards where there is, we'll call it the outside diameter, so the OD, where there's an outside edge with a bucket bottom to press upon. Well, you might increase the concentration of gas in that area, temporarily. But ultimately speaking, with enough time, regardless of what speed that centrifuge goes, eventually you will lose all the gas.
Aha.
So,
I
hold on.
think I see the problem here.
Hold on. He's heard a weasel word of eventually, and now he's going to try and work on that. Go ahead. Go ahead. I was going to transition to JERAN, but you go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So what you're saying is the little ball of, let's just call it a ball for sake of argument, little ball of gas is going to try to make its way out the bottom. Now, I've seen things in reality where balls are trying to go down the bottom, and you can get them to go back in with these flipper things. So you press a button and these flippers flip, and it hits the ball back up. So all I need is some flippers on the bottom of my container, and problem solved.
Well, number one, you don't need flippers because there's elastic collisions. They're going to impart the energy that they keep when they bounce off the outside diameter, the bottom of the bucket. But the inside diameter, where there's a hole, how are you going to get around the fact that there's nothing to preclude, regardless of the speed, them to exit that hole?
You're going to need a pinball wheel for that.
Hold on.
Yeah, what I need.
Excuse me.
Hold on. AI wants to focus on the
Okay.
bottom of the bucket. Let's just let him. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I just need something that's there for them to bounce off of, but not always there. Because if it's always there, we'd call it a lid. But if it's only sometimes there, we can just call it the moon.
But there is no lid in this scenario. If there's something there,
Exactly.
it's a lid. Yeah, then it's a container. Then it'll keep the gas. If it's sealed. If it's not a lid, then it's not there and it won't contain them. Yeah, we agree.
Right. Right, but all I need to do is have it exactly present when the gas is leaving to bounce the gas back down. And that's only probability.
But there's
But this
nothing
is
there.
irrelevant.
Regardless of you spinning it, the inside diameter is always exposed to the air around the centrifuge. Always, regardless of the speed. It's always got to route out.
But isn't this all irrelevant whether you're moving the bucket at 500 miles per second, which the bucket is a container, or you have the container static? You're still using a container. Like, the question is not how can you have gas pressure in an open container?
Correct.
We're not asking that, are we?
Yeah, I did say that earlier, but I wanted to persist and I wanted him to. So we are. Any
But
more?
That means that every point after that is moot because it's irrelevant to what we just asked.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you have gas pressure without a container? What about if I have a container? No, stop. No, but what if I have two containers? No, stop. If I've got 3 containers spinning at a really... Who cares? You can't have gas pressure without a container. In other words, the gas pressure that does exist in the scenario in the centrifuge is only in existence because it's pressed on something. The container. Temporary or otherwise, because it could go the opposite direction and immediately vacate that bucket, is irrelevant of the gas pressure itself, which is the force exerted on the walls of the containment. So without the containment, there is no pressure to measure.
And now I did
How would you be able to measure the pressure in the first place?
On the container.
Yeah, so I did analogize the boundary of the open end being counteracted by a paddle to the moon, because I have heard in the past people argue that the moon is actually the reason why the atmosphere doesn't leave the Earth, that it kind of scoops up or bounces it back or uses a force push like Darth Vader to throw the atmosphere back down to the Earth.
Everybody loves beautiful bullshit. Who's peddling this?
Oh, that was just casuals, that join 24/7. You know, if you need an ad hoc reason why something's happening, just pull one out your ass.
I see. So ad hoc explanation is from me. The moon is actually a giant positively charged air motor, and the sun is a giant positively... What was the opposite of what I just said? Negatively. Whatever the opposite of what I just said was. My memory's terrible. It's just a motor. That's all they are. They're motors, giant motors. Ad hoc as you get.
That is genius.
I agree. Give me money.
Have you ever? Have you ever seen a Dyson bladeless fan?
Like the moon? Oh, like a Dyson.
Exactly.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the moon for a minute there. My bad. A Dyson, yes, I understand. A vacuum cleaner, like the moon, but not the moon.
No, a Dyson bladeless fan. So it's a ring which has electrical charges, which charge up the air molecules on one side and then discharge them on the other side, so that they flow through this open area without a fan, and it creates a fan-like effect.
Yes, it's good fun to do this.
Stand in front of it and look in.
Yes, this is very good fun, and could also be very easily spun into huge profits. But we will not offer this false hope and nonsense to our audience, if you don't mind. Are we done with containerless containers? Because if so, we'll move on.
Yeah, we can move on after everyone goes to my link and buys a Dyson bladeless fan, so I can get some of the profit. All right, go ahead.
Or subscribes to your YouTube channel, buys your app, whatever it is you're punting your book. I'm sure everyone will buy it. Okay, I've already put the link. It's still floating by. You can see it there in the live stream chat. So please let JERAN know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a positive comment that hopefully won't be immediately removed, because you're very rude about how we've behaved towards this discussion.
I second.
I believe.
I think it's the black swan is logically fallacious. That's my claim.
Okay.
Negating its claim to falsify the curvature. of the Earth. The black swan, let me see here, and let me share screen. Share. This is John's formulation. I assume it's official. It says if the Earth is a sphere of the radius, and every horizon distance must be no more than 1.22 square root of the geometric horizon.
Could you at least attempt to read it properly rather than stuttering our way through it?
This first premise is false.
Welcome to Flat Earth. So the first premise is if the Earth is a sphere, radius 3959. So according to Brenda, strike one, this statement is false. So Earth, not a sphere, radius 3959, as stated by globe Earth believers everywhere. False, you say? I mean, it's one step short of calling it a straw man. But you just flat out say that the statement Earth's a sphere, radius 3959 is false. We agree. Welcome to Flat Earth. This is fairly standard fare for Brenda.
Therefore, the argument fails. It does.
So the argument that Earth's a sphere, radius 3959 fails. I see. So Earth, sphere, radius 3959 fails, according to Brenda. Well done, strike two. So your claim Earth's a sphere fails. Well done.
Doesn't succeed because
we agree.
It's not true that
the Earth's a sphere, radius 3959, as stated in the first statement she says is wrong.
Every horizon distance must be no more than 1.22.
That's the geometry of a hill. If I rephrase it to, if you've got a claim that there's a hill in the way of me, then the distance to the hill will be X. That's the claim. You say Earth's a hill getting in the way of boats and buildings. And you say the distance to the hill getting in the way is X. Now you're saying that's wrong. Yeah, well, why have you got Earth curve maths that says it's right then? It seems like you're taking apart your own claim here, Brenda, you dumbo.
Right? We have a geometric horizon and we...
No. That's what it's stating you must have, and you're saying it's wrong. So if you now say we do have a geometric horizon, that is the statement being made in the affirmative in this modus tollens, and you've just said it's wrong. But we do have a geometric horizon. What, like the one stated in the first statement that you said was wrong? That geometric horizon at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. The hill that gets in the way of boats and buildings. The one you said was wrong. You got one of them, have you? You double-speaking clown.
We have apparent horizons, and they...
Yeah, apparent, meaning you can see them. That's a bit redundant, wouldn't you say, Brenda? We can apparently see the horizon? Yeah, it's apparent we see it.
It can be in different places. In fact, there are at least several...
Sorry, we seem to now be talking about horizons being in different places, which is the end assertion that there can't be hills in the way of things, because they're in different places. So I paraphrase again. If you've got a hill in the way... it won't be in different places because it's a friggin' hill. Hills don't tend to move because they're hills. Now, your hill's got a distance to it in a calculation at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. That's your distance to hill measurement. Now, you say, hill move. No, Brenda. No. If you say the hill's moving, then it's not physical earth curve blocking boats and buildings. So you've immediately affirmed the position that this modus tollens is debunking by saying you've got geometry, but simultaneously saying it moves. Whoever's interrupting, shut the hell up. Actually, I was finished. Go ahead.
Don't they have it marked and labeled?
Yeah, marked with an X. On it? Labelled horizon in the begging the question, proof of nothing, geometric earth curve calculations that state that there is a hill in the way of boats and buildings at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet with an earth sphere radius 3959, precisely as stated at the start of this modus tollens, which she said was wrong. Only to then say we do have a geometric horizon, that's a hill in the way, and then say it moves. Ergo, not a geometric hill in the way. She's thick. Just dumb.
Horizons. There's a celestial horizon, a
celestial horizon. So when you say a celestial horizon, is that kind of like earth curve hills getting in the way? No, it wouldn't be marked with an X labelled horizon and you're begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective, hijacking, Earth curve calculation, hill that's supposed to be Earth curve. We don't have two horizons. We only have one horizon. And your globe horizon was debunked by the Black Swan.
Terrestrial horizon. There are landscapes, the horizon. There's
So if you are not a clown, go and take a look at the horizon. Notice I said the. Because there's only one. Now this numpty's going to now list off a whole bunch of horizons that we don't have.
a visual horizon.
What, the one that's supposed to be blocking boats and buildings because it's a frigging hill in the way, not marked with an X in your maths, that you say this isn't, because QE's stating that if the Earth's a sphere, therefore wrong. It's your claim, you stupid cow.
But the geometric horizon and the apparent horizon
There's only one horizon. The horizon in your begging the question calculator is geometric.
are different.
Just not the horizon we see, is it? Bit of a problem for you, right?
First premise equivocates. It commits the fallacy of equivocation. Therefore, John's argument is false. And in fact, I'm going to take it back. This argument is now mine.
Well, the argument that Earth's not a sphere and the first statement's wrong, you take it, love. You own that fact that the first statement that Earth's a sphere radius 3959 is wrong. But you have got a geometric horizon, it just moves. Yeah, you keep it, love. It's yours. It's all yours. Keep it. Yeah, we don't have an Earth sphere radius 3959 as stated in the modus tollens because Brenda says it's wrong. And we do have a geometric horizon that, contrapositively speaking, also moves. Yeah, you keep that shit, love.
Could we possibly...
John.
I was going to say, could we possibly give it to her that the surface, where surface level appears to meet the sky, surface or sea level, either one appears to meet the sky, like that requires a flat plane though, and it does in the math as well. And is she going to address that?
She wouldn't understand it if you explained it to her today. Anybody else? Was it Chocolate?
Just on that.
Adam?
Is this a debate between Brenda and JERAN?
No, it's a happy-go-lucky discussion.
Well, I'm just curious as to what QE's argument and while she's taking it off, what's that got to do with anything if you're debating a completely different person? Has JERAN presented the Black Swan? Or
just hold on. Right, this question's addressed to QE, but Chocolate, you can go next. And if he doesn't give an answer, I've got one. The question, John, if you're there, is why would your argument being placed in front of JERAN, specifically labelled as your argument? That's what the question is, correct, Adam?
and why would you go to debate somebody else to go and argue whether or not you think QE's right? The only thing I can see here is that JERAN and Brenda run off in the sunset agreeing that they disagree with QE. But what's that? If this is a debate, what is it? If this is a loving to attack flat Earth debate, or
we've got a big Q. QE, if he ever responds, then Chocolate, then AI. I'm eating my breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Chocolate.
So it's Eli. Just a minor point. The celestial horizon is just actually a flat plane with an infinite radius. So
I want to say that
which
again.
has nothing to do with, the horizon we do see. So
okay, so when she details the celestial horizon, you're saying that she's detailing the horizon observed on the flat plane that is the equatorial plane at the center of their globe Earth, that is a flat plane. Is that correct?
well, not even from the equatorial plane. The celestial horizon is actually just where you're standing. That's the plane, the around you. That's infinite.
A flat plane, though.
Yep.
Yeah. AI, go ahead. Thank you, Eli.
Oh yeah, I was just agreeing with the sentiment that there seems to be a push, and let's just call it a certain side, quote unquote, where they want to go through all the arguments that are alleged to be owned by, let's say, FED, and then make them either not prove anything or be disproven, right? So in other words, the FED panel's arguments are essentially just a waste of everyone's time, right? Like that, there is that sentiment going around. It's like, well, Nathan's wrong, QE's wrong. Let's get together with the Globers and agree together that they're wrong. But the arguments I have are right. So it's a play for ownership in a sense.
Man, I love
Well, let's
you,
see what
AI.
JERAN does about it.
Told you.
Neil and Roto, if that was Roto, or Jorge, I think it might have been.
No, I'm just agreeing. He's right on the money. AI is on the money.
I keep mixing up your names. It's just I can't hear very well at the moment. That's all. Is that Jorge?
No, that's right. It was me, George. Yeah. I'm just saying. I wonder how well JERAN is gonna debate this argument, because this is a flat Earth proof. Let's see if he's capable of.
Not a flat Earth proof.
It's not a flat Earth proof.
No.
Oh, it's a globe debunker. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just go through it as she did. She butchered it, so I'll do it on her behalf. Don't need it in front of me to read it off. I know it by heart. If the Earth is a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then every distance to the horizon can be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Distance to horizon is beyond 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet in the black swan imagery. Therefore, the Earth is not a sphere and the horizon is not Earth curve. That's got nothing to do with flat Earth.
Well, I would argue that see, when you say flat Earth, this like, well, I would argue that it's exactly that, because it's a true dichotomy. Either the Earth is curved or it's not. So if it's not a sphere, then it is flat.
That's correct. After the modus tollens concludes, you are left with a true dichotomy that only has one outcome. What is the alternative? As far as you are concerned, it is flat in that true dichotomy you see. But that's regardless of whether or not that's right or wrong. That's an inference after the fact, isn't it, Eli?
Yeah, I see.
Right, therefore, the modus tollens itself is most assuredly not, 104 people watching, woohoo, not a flat Earth proof. It's a globe debunking. That's what it does. Yes, you can take it and go, well, what am I left with? Yeah, it's got to be flat then. You know, and then you can talk about celestial navigation, which is a flat Earth proof. Also a globe debunking, because it doesn't work on a sphere. But the beauty of the reason I'm pointing this out is because of one of the aspects that's so beautiful of this modus tollens, which is that when an idiot tries to attack it, like Brenda has just done, she starts off by asserting her own claim, but because it's come from Quantum Eraser, addressed to JERAN, yeah, figure that out for yourself. It's her telling the audience how wrong asserting Earth's a sphere radius 3959 is. Okay, that's great for you, the numpty. I mean, we took the piss out of them in the first year because they would say it's a straw man. The first statement in the modus tollens is a straw man because we don't have a geometric horizon. It's refracted. It's like, come again? Yeah, that's correct. You don't have a geometric horizon and your maths depends on it. It's a hill getting in the way that you absolutely need and you're claiming is real. But you say you don't have one, therefore this is a straw man. Welcome to flat Earth. Brenda took it one step further. She just said, it's wrong. Oh, Earth, the sphere radius 3959, wrong? Okie dokie, Dumbo.
I'll go one step further and say that we don't have a geometric horizon in the Earth curve maths. That's a line of correlation drawn between the observer's height and the differential between two flat planes of the amount of information lost. So, yeah, we don't have a geometric horizon.
Was that the sound of a Lamborghini or a child screaming?
I thought it was the sound of a baller in pain.
Nah, it's more like a V12. You're going to need a flat Earth for that.
You can't have it anymore. Globebusters cannot have this argument anymore. It's mine.
But Globebusters can't have it anymore. They never used it, probably never understood it in the first instance. But you mean Ballbusters, right?
Yeah, she mix it up like I mix it up all the time.
It belongs to me.
Yeah, you can have it, love. Your explanation for it that it's wrong, you can keep that. Yeah, good. Keep saying it. Good. Put your name on that version of it. No worries.
It is not yours. It is your argument is fallacious, and it does not prove what you claim it proves.
It debunks. So you think it's a proof of something? No. It takes apart the positive claim, but you said the positive claim was wrong before you even took the first step. So what do you think it's proving? It's debunking the notion that Earth's a sphere radius 3959. Like I say, you've already said that's wrong though, right? What an idiot.
It's mine. I took it from you.
Good girl.
Okay, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you're talking about me specifically. Or...
I think JERAN needs to be at least 20 times louder. More gain, JERAN, more gain. You definitely need to be louder than the guest. At least 20 times. 20x the loudness is ideal, I would say. Right, is that it? Is there any more garbage from Brenda? Can we get her ugly mush off our face or our screen or what?
Hold on, let's hear JERAN.
Oh, right, you want to hear him? Oh, okay.
Stungeon.
Yeah.
Okay.
But a lot of flat earthers claim.
You're just gonna have to give me a minute while I sort out a few compressors and shit to sort out JERAN's audio nonsense. You'll come in yourselves for just a second. Thanks for that. I'm really glad you did that. Get the dead away.
Black Swan.
Yeah,
I am formally taking away all flat earther rights to the Black Swan. The Black Swan now belongs.
So, do you think that this is what you do? Is it, Brenda? Go around taking ownership of things? Okay, love. You do that, and that will achieve what exactly? Oh, Brenda says she owns this. Do you think I'm going to disclaim that when I take apart a baller? I mean, if it was you, Brenda, it is currently. I'd point out that you saying the statement that claims your sphere is true is wrong would be laughable. But you think you're going to take ownership of this? Oh, you do that.
To me.
Thank you for that.
Mine, and you can't use
Thank
I
you.
agree, JERAN. Thank you. Thank you for that, Brenda.
Can you mute yourself, please, for a minute? Thanks. So
Anything.
the problem with that is that we can use anything that we want. I'll particularly use the Black Swan for what I think it's good for. Why do I like the Black Swan? Because the Black Swan proves without any shadow of a doubt that the horizon is not what the mathematics of the globe Earth tell us because of refraction, because of variable conditions, because of everything.
Good summary. It's not what they say it is, a hill in the way. That's correct. Good summary. Anybody care to say that JERAN doesn't understand the Black Swan? It's not what they say.
God.
Very good, very good.
I really wasn't hopeful. Thank freaking goodness, man. Because I would have definitely, I would have labeled him just somebody who's on a hate train. Because, I mean, geez, thank you.
I need to inform you guys that part of this progress is that Neil has secretly been praying for him in the background.
Oh, shut up. Right. Props. No. Let's just get it straight. Props. Credit where credit's due. Overcoming the next stage of it, refraction, that's a different story. He may or may not be at that stage. He is now excelled above 99.9% of ball believers. His knowledge is absolutely above Brenda's at this stage because he's just hand-waved her garbage based on the fact, no, it debunks the hill in the way. He didn't say that. That's how I phrased it. I'm paraphrasing intentionally to keep my words distinct from JERAN's. But he understands it. Good. Excellent. Props. Kudos. Credit where it's due.
Horizon is an apparent position. To make any claim with the horizon...
A little bit redundant. The horizon is, by definition, an apparent location where the sky meets the ground or sea. So to say it's the apparent horizon is to say it's the apparent position where the sky meets the ground or sea.
Is fallacious. To say, oh, look, it bends. Oh, look, it curves. Oh, look, here it's flat. Oh, look, here it does this. Is to not pay attention to the definition of the word horizon and what it means, and that it's in an apparent position. It can never be pinpointed as the horizon is there or it's there unless you're going to use the mathematics, in which case you can say that the geometric horizon is so-and-so. That's what the black swan does, is shows that the geometric horizon is not at the distance that the mathematics of the globe Earth call for. That's
Precisely. Well done. Oh, God, man, I can feel the relief washing over me, Jeran. Oh, wonderful. Yes, precisely. It needs to be a hill in the way of the boats and the buildings at a physical geometric measurable value in feet and inches, blocking them with its hill-like nature in physicality. And the black swan shows that ain't the case. What an absolutely masterful summary, Jeran. I commend you.
That's what the black swan does. You have 1 minute. Final word.
Oh, well,
And further props for the casual, dogged assurance that he absolutely implicitly knows what this does and doesn't do and how it works. Over to you. You got 1 minute. You see, when Jeran's good, it's absolutely epic, isn't he? Tell me that that wasn't epic. Come on, someone shout me down. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me this isn't worth
No,
it.
there's hope. Hold on. There's hope. 1 second. There's hope for Jeran. Now, celestial navigation goes hand in hand with that. I do have some hope.
Right. He's just annihilated Brenda's 3-minute waffle. He just took it apart in 25 seconds.
the black
The
swan
only problem I
is a
see
specific
is
logic.
Go ahead.
the only problem I see is he's given them mathematics for a globe. I've yet to see those mathematics. So but we can work on that though. He done really well.
Man, you really are nitpicking. But yeah, I mean, once you understand that premise, which he clearly does, you can apply these to the horizontal requirements of the differential between the eye level and the sea level in their maths. But that doesn't actually give them an Earth curve edge, as you explained at the beginning of this show, right, John?
Right. There is no mathematics for a globe. It doesn't exist in math either. Like that's my point. Like there is no model. It doesn't exist in math. It exists only in the misinterpretation of mathematics.
Type of argument, right? It says if from the claim all swans are white, all you have to do to refute that is to produce one swan that is black. And I have shown that the claim black swan is a fallacious argument, and therefore it fails.
I'm not going to take her apart based on a baseless assertion. Jeran's already done that for me. As I say, the relief is brilliant.
At falsifying the claim that all swans are white. Moreover, it equivocates. It sets up a straw man. It is not the case that all horizons must be 1.22 times the square root, and so on.
Did she just say that just because you observe a black swan, it doesn't mean that all swans aren't white? Is that what she
What's
just
the
said?
logic? Yeah, she's rather than taking apart the modus tollens at its base, which she attempted and Jeran dealt with quite effectively, very effectively. Now she's on to Karl Popper and doing a bloody awful job of that, because now she's got the analogy with swans, and it's like, if the assertion is that all swans are white, this is the Karl Popper modus tollens, then you only need to show one black swan to prove that not all swans are white. Now, in the case of the comparison to horizons, it's the assertion that all horizons are hills blocking things, because it's Earth curve. You've only got to show once that it's not a hill blocking things to disprove that it's Earth curve. That's how the modus tollens translates through Karl Popper with swans, hence the name of the image in this example. The picture itself was dubbed the Black Swan. Why? You only need to show once that a hill that's supposed to block oil rigs is behind the oil rigs when assuming it's a hill. Therefore, it's not a physical hill getting in the way of oil rigs. Obviously and observably not a hill getting in the way, because it isn't getting in the way. So it's not a hill, it's not Earth curve. Go ahead, John.
But that's the thing, though. She just attacked that just because you have a black swan doesn't mean all swans are white. That's the position she's taking. That's madness.
Not exactly.
Or to rephrase it, just because it's not a hill getting in the way once doesn't mean that tomorrow it's not going to be a hill getting in the way.
Right. This is so remember we talked about in the past that they retconned their claim So once the black swan came out, they just changed their claim that all swans are white to swans are any color.
Yeah, it might be Earth curve blocking the boat and building today. Tomorrow, it might be refraction beyond the geometric limitations of an Earth sphere radius 3959, and the ground has been unbent to match the observation and not blocking whatever it is we thought it was blocking, because now everything beyond 1 mile is a slightly looming non-standard refraction hyenas hologram of the things that you thought you were seeing in completely different positions, as is always the case. So you're not really seeing oil rigs at all, they're mirages.
You missed it.
Right, or
At
to
best, you
form the
debunked the
argument.
radius.
Yeah, to form the argument, the way they retconned it is, we never claimed the horizon is geometric.
Except that their geometric R value to base the refraction they're claiming came from Al-Biruni measuring a geometric horizon at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet with no refraction. Therefore, his claim to get R to infer 7/6 of it in their refraction, or any derived value thereof, would require that they have a geometric horizon to measure in the first instance, as is claimed to be done by Al-Biruni. Do I hear the sound of a Lamborghini? What's that sound?
How did he Al-Biruni do that?
Neil, come on, you can be that Ferrari. Get in that Ferrari. Lamborghini.
He needed a flat plane for that.
Yeah, he needed a flat plane for that. Yeah, he did. That measurement of a geometric horizon they say they never claimed they'd measured or seen, or anybody would claim to be able to see, is the very basis of their R measurement from Al-Biruni, where he claims to see a geometric horizon and measure the differential actually between surface level and eye level with an astrolabe. Moving on.
Within 5%.
Within 5% of the measurement they've never measured, yeah.
Right? That is simply false. The argument is fallacious, and therefore it should be direct.
Yeah, we heard you the first 3 times, Brenda, when you said that it's fallacious and that it should be attributed to you. We got all this.
Reject.
Maybe address JERAN when he said, nah, it just debunks that it's a hill in the way. That's what it shows. You gonna ever get to that, or just power it off your same crap? It's just rinse and repeat stuck records styly.
It belongs to me now.
Sorry, do we need to hear this 4 times? Maybe 5 times? You can have it, love. Yeah, you've got it. You got it. No worries. Yeah, it's not right. The first statement, Earth sphere radius 3959, wrong. You got it. No worries.
No flat earther can use this. It belongs to me.
What? No earther can do what? No, Brenda, you're not the arbiter of what people do. I mean, while you might delude yourself into this power trip, no. What's that? I can't use it because Brenda says so. What? Should I tell her to suck?
Thank you. All finished.
And of course,
we can quote Brenda anyway.
What, when someone says, hold on, is that the Modus Tollens argument? Yeah, we know. Brenda already debunked it. She said that the first statement's wrong, so we might as well just stop there because Brenda's taken ownership of the argument. We can't go any further. Brenda says that the first statement's wrong. Yeah, Earth not a sphere, welcome to flat Earth, according to Brenda, if we use her argument. Okay. Are you good, opponent, with just saying that Earth's not a sphere, radius 3959, because Brenda says that's wrong? Because she owns that, you know. So you can blame her.
You're having fun. That's fine. You're allowed to have fun. I'm not going to stop you. All right. Let's go with my third claim. Is going to be that global earthers will not give up on arguments no matter what evidence is shown in their face.
Who gives a shit what they do? Does it matter? If I take a glober to the point of concession and he rinses and repeats the claim, pretty much like Brenda just did, then does that matter? No, I still won. Does it matter how these individuals behave? Not really. What about questions about globe Earth versus ball Earth? Is there anything useful beyond this point, or have we actually chewed through the actual useful stuff in this already?
That's what I'm upset about now. Why didn't he just hold it to that and say you have not answered what I stated? You haven't even given a reply to that. Can't just say I own it.
Because he's moving on, he wants his discussion points on debatism to be snappy, so he wants to move on to the next point. That's fine. But his next point is, what about you people? How you people behave? Right, so okay, so Brenda's now got to answer to a stereotyping fallacy about how globe Earth believers behave in debate. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but
she'll probably address it.
He failed to mention to her that he agrees with her that statement is false. The Earth is not a sphere with a radius of 3959. So we are in agreement, Brenda. Thank you. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Yeah, we can do that.
For the example of that one, I will continue to bring up the fact that Globers think it's okay to take an image of any type and condense it, squish it, and then say, oh, sorry, I didn't set my clock. I'll stop a little bit early. Condense it, squish it, and say that that's evidence of curvature, which number one problem with that, again.
The horizon's not curvature. That's the main problem with that. Let's see if he literally links the useful nature of the black swan, which is to say that the horizon's a Earth curve edge, that you can show how curved the edge is by condensing the photo, when we've debunked it as being an Earth curve edge. A hill getting in the way? Well, what, they squash it together and make it look more like a hill? Yeah, we debunked the fact that it's not a geometric physical hill getting in the way, though. Let's see if he links these two things together.
Is we've already said that the horizon is not in its position, it's in a parent position.
Boom! See? JERAN's freaking awesome. JERAN,
Okay.
you are the man. Just slapped her around the face with that absolutely as it should have been done. What a difference.
So to claim by taking the horizon and squishing it to show curve is, again, taking something apparent and trying to make a sense of it. And then also...
make sense of it, make it physical. Yeah, I mean, that's a bit crap, but yeah.
Your... I've taken and shown that known horizontal lines, either my granite countertop or lines in the garage flooring or the control joints, we know that those are straight lines. When we take a photograph of them and we put them into an editor, we can show that when condensed, show curvature. That alone refutes every single type of that evidence. And I find it embarrassing that globe earthers will continue, because once they make a claim, they feel like they are giving flat earth credence by ever going back on it, even though the simple fact, if you can show horizontal lines, known horizontal lines, curve when condensed, then no amount of evidence ever supplanted or ever supplied showing anything curving when condensed can be considered evidence of curvature, since I debunk it by showing you one known horizontal line.
Fair enough. Not necessarily a point that we would argue in terms of these optics, but it's a JERAN point. See how she responds to it.
That when condensed shows curvature. So there's many claims like this throughout the globe that they will not back off of evidence, which is why some of us are just turning to or deciding to just ignore them completely. Because how can we not be at a place where two human beings can agree?
I mean, again, just as a minor nitpick, keeping it away from the stereotyping fallacy and onto the evidence of why Earth can't have a sphere edge would have been better, but you've now given her an easier out to the question by focusing on the stereotyping fallacy rather than the evidence. But that's a minor. I say minor. That's what she'll focus on. I just know she will.
Something becomes fallacious when I can show you horizontal lines, known horizontal lines, curving when condensed. Therefore, any line that you show me that curves when condensed means nothing to me, and yet it keeps being promulgated. It's still on MC Toon's website. Has not been pulled down yet. Is still being called evidence when it's not evidence. It's anything but. Go ahead, you have a minute?
I mean, I can understand his gripe. By the same standard, why have we still got Earth curve calculators claiming that there's a point below the horizon that's calculable with a differential between eye level and surface level to assert that there's Earth curve? Why have we still got these calculators? Yeah, it's the same standard of gripe, but yeah, they'll keep rinsing and repeating regardless of how much you debunk them. In, 5 years of this show, maybe 6 years of Flat Earth debate, 8 years, maybe, I can't even keep track of how long I've been doing this, they will never stop rinsing and repeating. If you really smash the point home, like absolutely annihilate a whole bunch of them all at once, they won't rinse and repeat for 6 months. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think you should take that up with him. I don't see how a horizontal line could curve once you condense it.
Because all images are taken with...
Wow, Brenda. Bloody hell. So, number one, addresses the stereotyping fallacy, take it up with him. Number two, agrees with him. I'm slightly speechless.
The lens that is spherical, and they all have distortion.
That doesn't affect it.
And I'll tell you, why don't you go do it for yourself? Take a picture of a known horizontal line, then take it into an image editor and bend it, and you'll compress.
Why? She's just agreed with you. I mean, if this was a little chit test to see if you actually recognise where you get a concession, she gave it. I never got that out of her. I mean,
He's fighting for the
props
sphere
again to
now.
JERAN. He's missed it, but just agree, just say thank you.
Press it, you'll see it has curve.
No, that's not how lenses work.
Too bad I've shown it in every case I've ever shown.
No, what you showed is anti-aliasing. What you showed was anti-aliasing.
I could take a picture.
What is she talking about? Anti-aliasing is where you have a jagged line and a computer reinterpolates it more and more times to take out the jaggies from a line that's computer generated or on a screen. That's anti-aliasing. She's saying that there's a certain amount of anti-aliasing that takes place in a camera, but she's arguing at cross purposes now, where previously she was like, well, in terms of her agreement, well, no, that's not going to be an evidence. That's how lenses work. Well, that is, she's taken it away from the actual point of contention, which is how lenses work, and now talking about anti-aliasing. Very Brenda.
Picture right now of my computer screen, which is a horizontal top and horizontal bottom of my screen. And if I put into an image editor and condense it, it will show they both have curves. Therefore, you can never use that.
How can a straight line have curves?
Because when you take a photograph of something, that you're not always lined up straight, you're not lined up. If you're not pixel for pixel, if you don't have the 40th pixel up on both sides being identical, then when you condense it, it will show curve.
That's not true. That doesn't matter.
Okay.
They don't have to be perfectly aligned like that. They don't.
Let's think of a square image that we're looking at right now, and we think of it's black, okay? But there's one green. Hold on, there's one green dot on one side and one green dot on the other.
Around here, the frame that's around here.
Okay, so think of two green dots on both sides of the picture. If they're not at the exact same pixel height, when you condense it, they're going to show a curve. They have to get.
No, they won't.
I don't understand how you can ever think that. Okay.
I mean, maybe we'll major on this minor for 5 minutes. If so, we'll spin on. Is there anything else useful in this? Because I've got to be honest, this is getting a bit tedious. And somebody only recommended the Black Swan garbage that we've taken apart and JERAN got mad props for. At this point, given it's so positive towards JERAN, anything else that somebody who's watched this knows is useful beyond this point? Because if it's stuff like this, I'm done with this video. Anybody at all?
Might be good to leave on a high note. That way we can't be accused of being too negative.
I don't care if we are, but credit where credit's due, right? And even Neil ate his own words today, which is a shock, let's be honest. So let's just do the usual YouTube stuff with the liking and the sharing and the commenting and the subscribing and all that good jazz. Because, as I said at the beginning, this is nice to actually be sharing a friendly, but let JERAN know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. In this respect, it is, like always, with slightly selfish motivations, which is to say I would hope JERAN would put a link to my video where we to respond to, in this instance, our positive comments, where he absolutely wiped the floor, at least in that instance, with the Black Swan. I mean, you can't give much higher praise to JERAN in that regard, and we did. So, you know, let him know. Might as well tell him we gave him high praise, because we did. So, yeah, thank you very much to JERAN. Thank you very much to Brenda. As much as it pains
When
me to
he's
say
on
it.
point, he's on point. When he's good, he's good.
You are so quick to condemn him, even on this show. Why are you guys so keen to... Yeah, because he's great. When he's good, he's absolutely amazing.
When he doesn't have a knife in his hand.
Well, that makes him more lethal when he's... How can somebody who's thick and not very effective with a knife be of any concern to me when they've got a knife in their hand, as you phrase it? Well, they wouldn't be. I wouldn't care. Oh, well, suddenly I paid a lot of attention when he's got that knife in his hand, haven't I? All right, and I'm moaning about how much damage he can be doing. Well, he's obviously not some Dumbo, useless idiot. Otherwise, he wouldn't be capable of doing any damage to me. Right? Now, as JERAN probably found out after the fact, that blood has already drained out of me. Right? It's ain't going back in no matter how much I try and scoop it back in. So it don't really make much difference. The blood loss has already occurred. So did it actually make that much difference? Hard to know. Probably, but I like to be an optimist and tell myself that, it didn't really matter when JERAN was calling me a scammer. But doesn't make any difference when he's on our side and he's a friendly and he can absolutely do fantastic things. Hope you all enjoyed that. Did you all enjoy that as an audience? I hope so.
Yeah, it was very nice, very nice. I wanted to say something, and I'm not taking credit from anybody else, but I just want to give credit to my children for making this point. And I'm going to paraphrase it because I'm not going to say it the way they said it, but they made it they made a point to prove to me that whether it be the realistic apparent observation as the sun circuits and goes away beyond the horizon and comes towards us, yada, 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 even to the imaginary, fantastical, heliocentric, like people say, due to the Earth rotation, the sun rises and sets. They made a point to make to me that in both aspects, because they're dealing with adverbs, verbs, and things like that, they said in both aspects, it's not really happening. They're both apparent observations because, and I thought about it, I said, wow, these kids just broke down that even if they wanted to argue that the sun sets and the sun rises, it's still only an apparent observation. It's not really happening because they said, Dad, a verb, rise and to set, is something that a noun does. A verb is the activity of a noun. The kangaroo jumps, the rabbit eats, things like that. So I was like, whoa. And I said, I got to tell the guys this. They said, okay, please tell. So that to me, I thought that was pretty analytical of a 9 and a 7-year-old to be able to even understand, even in that aspect. Not to say that they know the difference of the reality and the fantasy, but it's still both sets, both sides. It's nothing but apparent.
With that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you, first and foremost, to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. If you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, however, stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. And another massive thank you to all of you for tuning in live, smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, letting JERAN know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!